Continue learning about head decorations and other accessories. Head decorations include ears, facial hair, eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, and headbands. Other accessories include bracelets, leg decorations, and belts, etc. First, make the ears and other head decorations. Then make the other accessories. Now watch me demonstrate. First, crochet the ears. The ears start with a magic ring. Then work 2 chains. Next, into the magic ring, crochet 7 double crochets. When completed, crochet 2 more chains. Then join with a slip stitch into the magic ring. The slip stitch doesn't need to be too tight. Pull the yarn tail to tighten. Leave about 20 centimeters of yarn tail at the end. Fasten off normally. Next, using the same method, crochet 1 more ear. Once the ears are crocheted, sew them onto the head. The center of each ear. Should be roughly on the same round as this middle point. And spaced about 16 stitches apart on each side, meaning the ears should be positioned in front of the arms. The exact number of stitches can be adjusted slightly depending on the actual situation. Once the position is confirmed, use the reserved long tail to sew them in place. Sew it up securely. Pay attention to having the clearer texture side facing forward. Then tie off and weave in the ends neatly. This way, one ear is completed. Follow the same method to attach the other ear, making sure they are roughly symmetrical. Next, make the hair and whiskers. First, mark the position. Leave the marker from the original yarn right here. At the very back, between rounds 13 and 14, insert a pin. At the same round, about 10 stitches apart on each side, insert another pin on each side, meaning this section is roughly centered at the back. Then, directly below the middle pin, skip 8 rounds. So between rounds 18 and 19, insert a pin. Then on both sides of this pin, on the same round, about 15 stitches apart, insert another pin on each side. Note: the pins on both sides should be roughly symmetrical. If symmetry can't be achieved based on stitch count, adjust slightly. We won't repeat this reminder later. Next, on the same round at this point, about 3 stitches apart from each ear, insert a pin. Skip 3 rounds upwards. Or slightly angled outward. Then mark both spots. Then on the same round, about 6 stitches apart in the middle, mark 2 points. Skip 3 rounds upwards. About 11 stitches apart in the middle. Mark 2 points, then move 1 stitch inward. Mark 2 more points. On the same round, nine stitches apart from each of these spots, mark 1 point. Skip 1 round upwards. Between this section, mark 2 points respectively. These 2 points are about 4 stitches apart. Continue upwards. Skip 3 to 4 rounds. Roughly mark 2 points in the middle. These 2 points are 3 to 4 stitches apart. After marking, take a look. The curve on both sides should be roughly symmetrical. You can follow the marked points. Use a water-soluble pen to draw the outline of the hair. The marks can later be wiped off with a tissue dampened with water. When drawing the outline, try to keep it smooth and round. Don't draw on the top part here. For the back section, follow this round to draw. Both sides should also be drawn more smoothly. As you get close to this point, make it slightly flatter. You can also adjust according to your preference. I'll leave this part blank. Once done drawing, begin poking the wool along the lines. Take a small piece of wool roving, like this. Unfold it slightly, roughly evenly. In the middle of the wool roving, poke along the line. Then flip it up. Poke a few stitches to secure. Once poked, it won't easily come off. You can also poke a small section on this side, or do it all together later. Once completed, continue by taking a small piece of wool roving. Secure it along this line. Same as before, first poke in the middle, then flip it up. And poke again to secure. Next, use the same method. Secure this section well. After finishing the first row of wool roving, continue down about 7 rounds apart. Secure the second and third rows of wool roving in place one by one. When securing the wool roving below, you can flip up the existing wool roving. I've already secured mine here. Once secured, tidy up the surface. While tidying up, if you notice any area with less wool roving, you can add a few more needle punches. Expose the ears on both sides. Then, follow the previous lines. Secure it in place. Roughly fix it to this point, or the point above. Once the edges are secured, poke a few stitches into this section to make it lie flatter. After both sides are settled, go around the ears and add another round of needle punches to secure. Then follow this curve and secure the wool felt in place. Once this side is done, symmetrically shape and secure the other side. After this side is secured, reinforce the middle area with more wool felt. Roll the felt at the bottom inward a bit. After rolling, roughly add a few needle punches at the bottom to secure. You can also lightly stab a few times here at the front. Then, add a few loose stabs at the back as well. Keep the bottom fluffy. Simply poke a few stitches into the whiskers too. But don't stab too densely. Keep the whiskers generally fluffy overall. Feel free to adjust based on your preference. Next, take a small strand like this to make the top whiskers. Don't take too much. Slightly less is better. You can add more later with extra poking. First, poke this small section in place. The width of this upper part is roughly 1 round plus half a round. That is, below the marked circle. And across the half circle above. This small section is wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. You can refer to the sample. Adjust the shape here accordingly. Once the facial hair is secured, next secure the eyebrows. First, determine the position. Starting from the middle marked point. Skip 4 rounds downward. Mark 2 points in the middle like this. These 2 points are roughly 7 stitches apart and roughly centered. Then, skip another 2 rounds downward and space about 6 stitches outward. Mark them separately. Next, take a small strand of wool roving, fold it in half. wider at the top and narrower at the bottom. Place the eyebrow on top. First, secure it at these two marked points by stabbing a few times to fix in place. Note: on the outer side here, the bottom of the eyebrow should be positioned at this point. Then skip down one round. Stab at this point as well, meaning there should be a width here. Always stab at the same point here. Trim off the excess part here. Then secure the edge of the eyebrow with a few stitches. Note: try not to stab in the middle of the eyebrow. Overall, the eyebrow should be wider at the top and come to a point at the bottom. Next, use the same method to make the other eyebrow roughly symmetrical. Then make the eyes. Cut a piece of same color yarn from a leg, thread it through a darning needle. Align both ends of the yarn. Then at this marked point, mark 2 points one round below. Space these 2 points about 17 stitches apart, and roughly centered on both sides. After marking, insert the needle at one marked point, stitch out at the other marked point. Leave both yarn ends roughly the same length. Cut the yarn. Then trim each side separately. Leave about 1.5 centimeters. Meaning after bending slightly into an arc. The end is roughly level with the eyebrow area. You can leave a bit more at first, convenient for trimming later. Use glue to stick these two strands together. After gluing, trim the tail end. Shape it into a pointed effect. Note: ensure that after trimming, there's a slight curve here. The tip aligns roughly with the tip of the eyebrow. If it frays after trimming, you can apply a little more glue to secure it. The tip should finally be secured to round 27. Next, glue the entire piece in place. This way, one eye is done. Next, using the same method, make the other eye roughly symmetrical. Then make the nose. Cut a piece of same color yarn for the head. Leave one end longer. Then cross both ends like this. Pull the longer yarn through. This is the first time. Continue pulling the longer yarn through. Second time. Repeat this process. Continue pulling the yarn. Pull a total of 8 to 10 times. Then gently pull the thread like this. Tighten it. You can leave a slight curve. These loops should be roughly even. Then attach the nose. Secure it in place at the middle of this section. Flush against the whiskers underneath. Pay attention to the placement. First take one end of the yarn tail. Secure it with a few stitches on the head. You can add more stitches as needed. Then apply a small amount of glue to the bottom of the nose. And hide the other end of the yarn tail. That completes the nose. Next, embroider the mouth. Cut a piece of same color thread from the leg. Take 3 strands and thread the needle. First, weave in the thread for a few stitches on the head, then skip 2 rounds from here. Roughly come out on the right side of the middle 3 stitches. Skip 3 stitches to insert the needle. Don't pull too tight. Make a slight downward curve. And secure it with a bit of glue. Finally, weave in the yarn tail for a few stitches and cut the yarn. Now the mouth is also complete. Next, make the headband. Use 2 strands of silver yarn held together as 1 strand. Start with 100 chain stitches. You can also make a few extra chains, which can be undone later. Then on the 3rd chain from the end, pick up through the top loop. Work 1 single crochet. Pay attention, the single crochet here follows the regular single crochet technique, and you need to weave in the shaping wire as you crochet. Place the shaping wire above the hook. Leave a small tail at the beginning, to prevent it from slipping out. Draw the yarn through. Continue working single crochets by picking up through the top loop each time, while wrapping the shaping wire. Compare the fit as you go. Do not cut the yarn after completing. Stretch the loop to prevent slipping. Then smooth out the single crochets along the shaping wire. Like this, evenly distribute them. Next, wrap it around the head once. The two ends should extend 3-4 centimeters longer, once the length fits properly. Cut off the shaping wire. First, trim a little from the starting end, leaving a small tail. Then fold it toward the wrong side. Take the starting end with a length of 3-4 centimeters and bend it over like this. Pay attention. The stitches should be on top, the cast-on edge at the bottom, and the right side texture facing you. Then compare it to the head for fit. Similarly, bend the ending symmetrically. If it's too long, you can undo a few stitches. Thread the yarn tail along the wrong side texture to hide it, and then bend it into place. Once the headband is done, apply a bit of glue where the headband touches the forehead to secure it in place. But no need to glue the part touching the felt. And this part should be perfectly above the wool felt. Finally, use silver thread to sew a few stitches at the middle close area to secure it. That's it for the headband. Next, make the wristband. Here, use 2 strands of gold thread together. Start with 19 chain stitches. Then, starting from the 3rd chain from the hook, insert the hook into the top loop. Work half double crochet into each stitch in sequence. After completing, wrap it around the wrist to check the fit. And it can be slightly loose, or just enough to wrap around. If it's too short, you can undo and crochet more loosely, or add a few more stitches as needed. Once completed, leave a yarn tail of about 15 centimeters. Hide the short ends on the wrong side. Then sew it onto the wrist. With the right side texture facing out. Just sew the beginning and ending together with a few stitches. After sewing, roughly evenly attach 5 of these colored half beads to the bracelet, with colors random. Make the other bracelet in the same way, and it's done. Next, make the leg decoration. Cut a piece of same color yarn about 40 centimeters long from the pants leg. Remove 3 strands from it. I've already removed them. First, apply a proper amount of glue to the middle section of the yarn. Then, secure the middle section between the 2 rounds after the color change on the leg. Next, cross in front. Then, secure it. Switch the yarn position behind. Above, space about 3 rounds apart. And secure again. Return to the front and cross. Similarly, secure the front part. Then, use a darning needle to hide the yarn tails inside the leg of the pants. Tuck the other end in symmetrically as well. Then, follow the same method to finish the decoration on the other calf. Next, put on the inner and outer garments. Cut a piece of lychee peel, about 1 centimeter in width, and just long enough to wrap around the waist once. You can measure the circumference first, before cutting it. After cutting, tidy up the garment. Use a few pins to temporarily secure it in place, making the clothing fit more neatly. Then wrap on the belt. At the same time, use glue to secure the belt to the garment. Align the beginning and ending roughly side by side. Leave about 1.5 centimeters below the outer garment. The exact position can also be adjusted according to your preference. Next, make the prayer beads. First, cut a slightly longer piece of the same color yarn from the leg. Thread the yarn needle. Then string 21 of these beads. I have fewer beads here. After stringing, tie a knot to secure the yarn end. You can tie a few more knots. Then hide the yarn tail. Finally, put it around the neck. And add a little blush to both cheeks. Up to this point, all head decorations and accessories have been covered. Next, learn how to make the demon subduing staff. It includes 3 crochet pieces and shaping wire, etc. First, crochet all the pieces, then assemble them. Now watch me demonstrate. First, crochet piece 1. Piece 1 starts with 2 strands of silver yarn. Work together. Chain the corresponding number of stitches. Then, starting from the second chain from the hook, work in the top half loop. Crochet the corresponding stitch pattern accordingly. Don't make the slip stitches too tight. After completing, leave a tail of about 50 centimeters at the end. Then turn the piece over, keeping the right side facing you. On the opposite side of the starting chain, at the edge, chain stitch, which is the slip stitch insertion point at the edge. Join the yarn. Work 1 chain. Then starting from where you joined the yarn, pick up the left side insertion points one by one, and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. Here is a slip stitch. The insertion point might be a bit tight. As you crochet, slightly pull it open. After completing the 2 groups of stitches in parentheses, move on to 1 treble crochet, which means yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over one after another. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Repeat 3 times. Treble crochet completed. Then work 5 treble crochet 2 stitches together. Start with the first one. Yarn over twice. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over one after another. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Repeat 2 times. Here you've made an incomplete treble crochet. Continue to the adjacent position on the left side. Make the second incomplete treble crochet. Then yarn over. Pull through all loops at once. This is a treble crochet decrease. Continue with the second treble crochet decrease. First make 2 incomplete treble crochets. Then yarn over. Pull through all loops at once. The second treble crochet decrease is completed. Repeat this process. Make 3 more treble crochet decreases. After completing Work 1 treble crochet. Then refer to the chart. Finish crocheting the remaining stitches. Once completed, leave a tail of about 50 centimeters. Cut the yarn normally. One fabric piece 1 is now completed. Next, follow the same method. Crochet one more piece at the end of the second fabric piece 1. Do not leave a long tail. Once both pieces are finished, place them with wrong sides and textures facing each other. Use the reserved long yarn tail. Sew together the corresponding side. Note: when sewing, pick up the 2 half stitches that are close to each other. Continue sewing along this side. After sewing, you can take a few extra stitches at the end here. Then use this yarn tail to sew about halfway first. Again, pick up the half stitches that are close to each other. When you've sewn about halfway, take out the shaping wire. Bend one end slightly like this. Then thread it into the fabric piece. Leave a little and cut it off. Bend the other end as well. Then stuff with appropriate amount of fiber fill. Continue sewing while stuffing a small amount of filling cotton. Sew up the remaining part. Move on to work piece 2. First take 2 strands of gold thread, work with both strands together, follow the chart and crochet the first 5 rounds. I've already finished crocheting. Note, don't crochet the starting chain too tight, convenient for inserting the wooden stick later. Then move on to the 6th round. This round work on back loop only. Everyone continue to refer to the pattern. Keep going until you complete the first 17 rounds. While crocheting, switch colors as needed. Refer to the chart for details. Now I've completed the first 17 rounds. After finishing, secure the yarn. Pull up a large loop. Thread the crocheted part through the loop. Pull tight. Then stuff with fiber fill appropriately. Then press the top flat. Insert your hook into this side first. Into the stitch of a single crochet on the edge. Draw the yarn through. Don't pull the carried yarn too tight, just gently straighten it. Work 1 chain. Insert into that same stitch. And also into the adjacent stitch on the right side. Make 1 single crochet. Continue inserting into the stitches on both sides simultaneously. Work the stitch pattern as shown in the chart. Skip the slip stitch position. After completing, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Continue to crochet the second section. The second section is crocheted separately on both sides. The crocheting method on both sides is identical. I'll demonstrate using one side as an example. First, roughly press it flat. With the starting chain at the bottom, find the front loop of the 5th round. approximately the middle 8 stitches on the side edge. Join the yarn in the first of these 8 stitches. Here use a gold thread to crochet. Work 1 chain. Then starting from where you joined the yarn, on the left side, work 8 single crochets into the front loops, 1 stitch at a time. After completing, continue to the second row, work 1 chain, turn the work, skip 1 stitch. Correspondingly make 5 single crochets. After completing, continue to skip 1 stitch, work 1 single crochet in the last stitch. Row 2 is completed. Continue to follow the chart, complete rows 3 to 5. After finishing, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. After one side is crocheted, crochet the other side in the same way. This completes fabric piece 2. Now proceed to learn fabric piece 3. There are 2 of fabric piece 3, worked with identical method, also crocheted using 2 strands of gold yarn together. Pay attention, on row 4, begin from the second chain from the hook. Pick up the front loop above. Correspondingly make single crochets, then pick up the stitch and work single crochets accordingly. Row 8 is similar to row 4 in crochet method. First make single crochets into the chains, then pick up stitches, and make single crochets. Leave the last few stitches unworked. Refer to the chart. Complete both fabric pieces 3. Now begin assembly. First take a wooden stick like this. Cut off about 2 centimeters. Then on the trimmed end, leave about 1.5 centimeters, make a mark. And on the other end, leave about 3 centimeters. Make another mark. Next, roughly taper both ends a bit. I've already shaped this end in advance. You can also use a knife at home to shape them. Pay attention to safety while trimming. After shaping, wrap the middle with the corresponding yarn, meaning from the mark on this side. All the way to the mark on the other end. At the start, apply a small amount of glue to the thread. And also apply an appropriate amount of glue at the ending. Then it's fully wrapped. Next, we need to make these gold thread loops. There are 2 types of gold thread loops, thick and thin. Start with the thinner one. Cut 2 pieces of shaping wire about 5 centimeters long. Hold them together. Wrap with gold thread. Wrap around 2.5 centimeters. Then compare it to the stick. Trim off the excess shaping wire. Mindful not to cut too much, ensuring it can fit perfectly later. Slightly loose is okay. It will be secured with glue later. Bend the shaping wire into a circle. Then cut the gold yarn, leaving about 50 centimeters. You can use a yarn needle if needed. Continue wrapping the remaining part. Note: when reaching the connection point, apply a proper amount of glue. Don't pull too tight. Just gently wrap it around. Like this, the thinner gold yarn loop is done. Using the same method, make another one. Next, make the thicker gold yarn loop. That means cut 3 pieces of shaping wire, each about 5 centimeters long. Place them together like this. Note: not placing the 3 wires side by side. Then wrap with gold yarn. The method is the same as for the thinner one, make 2 of them as well. Once the gold yarn loops are ready, apply a proper amount of glue on the inside. Then attach them onto the rod. First the thinner one, then the thicker one. Position the thicker gold yarn loop so its top is roughly level with the wrapped thread. Everyone just continue securing the remaining gold yarn loops in place. Next, attach fabric piece 3 onto fabric piece 2. Aligning the top notch roughly with the color change position. The exact position can be adjusted according to preference. And make sure the front side texture of the last row of fabric piece 3 is facing forward. After attaching it, take a metal ring like this one. Open the clasp. Then at the side, thread through both fabric piece 3s at once, and close it back up. Attach another metal ring on the other side in the same way. Next, take the longer end of the wooden stick and thread it through approximately the middle of the cast-on edge of fabric piece 2. You can first use a yarn needle to poke the hole a bit bigger. Keep poking until the gold thread loop and the fabric are roughly close together. To secure it firmly, you can apply a small amount of glue onto the stick to fix it in place. Once done, take fabric piece 1. At the silver thread side, approximately in the middle, also insert the stick into it, and you can apply glue to secure it as well. Once completed, on both sides, separated by about 1.5 centimeters, attach a metal ring. Up to this point, this toy has been fully explained. If you have any unclear parts while crocheting, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.